Real quick before I put this up, I guess somebody messed with my camera settings and now the camera quality is not the greatest, but the information is still good, so I'm going to put this video up. I got a couple of videos like this, but like I said, the information's still good, so I think I'm going to put it up anyway. Hello there, people of the internet. Your gun that you use is more important than the caliber it is that you are shooting. I believe it was, I can't remember who it was. I think that recollection tells me it's Paul Harrell. But Paul Harrell, or somebody else, had said that it is better to hit something with a .22 long rifle than to miss it with a .45. And if he didn't say that, then I'm still going to go ahead and give him a shout out because he was just such a fantastic inspiration to the firearms community. And what happened to him is absolutely tragic and horrible. But the idea is that hitting your target with your firearm and being capable with that firearm is significantly more important than what it is that you're actually taking out to shoot. Like, for example, let me look upon my pile of stuff here and see what I could give as a good, adequate example. This is a good example. If I had, let's say I was out on the range, and I was clinking steel at, I don't know, 700 yards. This right here is a SETME C308 rifle chambered in 7.62 NATO, which is, for all intents and purposes, for the sake of this argument, it's 308. And I get that they're not directly interchangeable, but that is a discussion for another video. But with this rifle right here, 308 is absolutely adequate to be able to touch out to 700 yards. Unfortunately, this gun is probably a 4 to 6 MOA gun, depending on how hungover I am, and depending on what kind of ammunition it is that I'm using. Most of the time, I'll be rocking factory second 7.62 NATO stuff, so that stuff's not all that great and not all that accurate. And so as a result of that, just the ammunition, although the ammunition is absolutely adequate for being able to do that job, the likelihood of me hitting a target of any real size would be extraordinarily small with something like this at that 700 yards. The cone of fire from, say, we're just going to call this a 6 MOA gun. The cone of fire at 700 yards, that's 6 inches at 100 yards, so 6 times 7, so that's 42, 43, 42. Yeah, that's 42 inches at that 700 yards. So assuming that I am sitting in just like a mechanically locked setting where there is absolutely no human error whatsoever, the spread of that gun at 700 yards is going to be 42 inches. That is if I am locked down and like Terminator levels of holding that gun in place onto my target. 42 inches. That's 12, 24, 36. That's a little over 3 feet in spread, which is absolutely nuts. So although, yes, 308 is 110% capable of hitting a target out of that distance, the likelihood of me being able to hit that target with something like this is so minor and so minute, it's probably not going to happen. And then you add in the fact that I just blatantly suck at shooting, and the likelihood of me smacking that target with even a precision rifle is incredibly small. But that being said, I know for a fact that with this particular gun, also still chambered in 308, I'd be able to hit that thing with this gun. This is a sub-MOA rifle, and this is one of those rifles where I went out of my way to really learn what it likes. This rifle is a TOZ-122. It is a Russian-made rifle made by the Tula Arsenal. This is one of their commercial rifles. It's got a 1 in 14 twist barrel inside of it, and it really, really likes lightweight bullets. Most of your 308 rifles have like a 1 in 10 twist, and that's really standard for a 30 caliber barrel. This one right here being a 1 in 14, it stabilizes lighter weight bullets exceptionally well. And I have found that with this particular rifle, 130 grain bullets just absolutely scream out of this thing, and they scream with pretty significant accuracy. Whenever I load, like hand load my own 308 ammunition for this rifle, I'll go through a number of things to make the rifle as accurate as possible. I'll fire form the brass to the chamber so all of the brass is exactly consistent. I'll trim it all to the exact same length. I'll use, of course, the same powder and I'll make sure that the powder charge that I'm using is accurate to 1/10 of a grain of powder, and I'll make sure every single bullet is the exact same weight and size down to 1/10 of a grain. And so all of that combined with those 130 grain bullets and the 1 in 14 twist barrel, this rifle right here is tremendously accurate. And I've made some videos about this rifle and just how accurate it is and how accurate it can be. So this right here, although it is shooting the exact same 7.62 NATO ammo, or in this particular case 308 ammo, which is what I'd probably run through this thing, same thing as that Setme C308 for all intents and purposes, I would be able to hit that gong downrange at 700 yards with this, as opposed to that Setme C308. Making shots at 700 yards with something like this really wouldn't be all that difficult in the hands of a capable shooter. I know that I can do it because I've done it a couple times. I did miss a couple of times, but I've seen this rifle ran really, really well. We're just gonna go ahead and leave it at that. But even at, like, say, closer distances, 500 yards, something like this right here, I still don't know if I would trust it for hitting any real significant target at those distances unless we're just out there clinking steel. Even if I were to go with a less powerful cartridge in a more capable platform, that would be a better idea. What's a good option here? Here we go. This right here, if we're shooting at 500 yards, this right here is a Savage Axis in 223. And this particular one has a 1 in 9 twist, and it stabilizes 55 grain bullets really, really well. If I'm using a short 77 grain bullet, it also stabilizes those extraordinarily well, but as it gets longer and longer and longer, we start to lose stability because it is a 1 in 9 twist. So kind of riding the razor's edge with that right there. But 55 grain bullets in particular, this rifle seems to really, really like, and I can get sub-MOA groups with this particular gun pretty gosh darn easy. But those 223 rounds are a lighter weight, lighter hitting round than that 308 gun. However, even though the rounds themselves are less capable than 308, the likelihood of me hitting my target at 500 yards with something like this is significantly higher than hitting it at that 500 yards with something like this. Even if I were to mount a scope to this thing and give it just the best possible chance it has to be able to perform effectively, I still wouldn't be able to hit that target all that effectively just because of the massive cone of fire that a rifle like this has. This is a battle rifle. This is not a precision rifle. Battle rifles, or just fighting rifles of any nature, whether we're talking full power battle rifles or just your run-of-the-mill intermediate rifle, those tend to have about a 4 MOA accuracy standard. If you manage to find one that's more accurate than that, then you have a Goldilocks gun, because most of the time that doesn't happen. Now, if I was, say, shooting at 100 yards, then something like this right here becomes much more appealing, especially if I am shooting at closer than 100 yards and I have to stick a lot of ammo downrange as rapidly as possible. Maybe there's multiple targets, maybe I'm on a timer, maybe something else is happening, but that's a good case where a platform like this would be better than a platform like this, even though they both shoot the exact same ammunition. As a matter of fact, if I were to look at, I don't know, something else that might fall into this category, if I were up and close shooting at whatever it is that I'm shooting at, and I was on a timer and we were shooting at distances that were close, yes, the 308 cartridge is absolutely adequate to be able to do that job, but there's better platforms and better options out there. Like, for example, if my only worry was smacking steel at fairly close ranges on a timer and getting as many rounds on target as possible, I'd probably pick a 5.56 of some kind. Hell, if we're within 50 yards, I might even choose a 22 long rifle of some kind. This right here, I doubt that this would be the platform that I would pick for this particular case, but semi-auto 22, just because of that lack of recoil and how lightweight this is and whatnot. A good example of a cartridge that might not be all that great, but the platform itself would probably be able to get that job done. I would take this to run in a situation like that over something like this right here, because this right here is a remade Sturmgewehr STG-44 chambered in 22 long rifle, so it's the same as that other gun, But this one right here is really, really heavy. I think it's made to mimic the same weight as an actual Sturmgewehr, and as a result, it's like 10 pounds if memory serves me correctly. So, although they both fire the same cartridge, the lighter weight AR-7 style rifle would definitely be the better option in that particular case. So there we go. I think that I've said my piece. Your particular rifle, your capabilities with that rifle, what the rifle is able to do, and what you as a shooter are able to do matter a lot more than what cartridge it is that you decide to pick. I've had a lot of people tell me that they won't run anything lighter than a 308 because they just think that it's the most manly cartridge. And yeah, there's a lot of jobs that you can get done with that 308, but there are some situations where something like that might not be the best option. A lot of recoil, a lot of weight, a lot of noise, a lot of everything. So there might be some situations where maybe a 357 Magnum would be a better option. Maybe even a lever gun like what I got right here. As a matter of fact, I might make a full-on video about something like that. So there's my rant. Thanks for watching, folks. I appreciate your time. Like, subscribe, share. Description below is a link to all sorts of stuff. Go check it out. You guys go off. Have yourself a fantastic day. I'll see you on the next episode.
Been a little while since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. Poor man's Garrett. It's a shame that bolt-action shotguns aren't more mainstream.